been a little bit since I have checked out something Bill Burr related, not terribly long, just a little bit. And with this, I figured I could actually kill two birds with one stone. What he's talking about here is very much capturing a lot of people's attention. It's the Depp and Heard trial that's going on right now. And apparently he has weighed in with some thoughts on the matter. Now, having been exposed to Burr for enough time now, I feel like I probably know where he's going to go with this, but I might end up being surprised. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this and see what Bill Burr thinks about this whole mess going on. All right, here we go.
Doug Stanhope put something up.
Yeah.
He wrote something. He's friends with Johnny Depp, and he's going through this brutal fucking divorce. And
well, the divorce is done. What's going on right now is the defamation lawsuit. And I did recently read about what Doug Stanhope had put, or he had written something a few years back about what was going on because he's friends with Depp. And I didn't know that. And I remember being, surprised because I've done a reaction to at least one of Doug Stanhope's bits. So, okay, let's proceed.
I just want to give him props for sticking up for his friend and everything and saying something because, you know what's really so fucked up? All right? It's all the shit that happens to women, that guys do to women, is fucked up. But there has been a slight overcorrection now where if a woman just says you do something, before you're ever tried or convicted, it just gets put in the paper.
Yep.
It gets put all over the internet. And then all you fucking morons, or 90% of you on the fucking internet, just take it as truth. Take it as fun. Why do you take it as truth?
Yeah, exactly. Why? There's no valid reason to take it as truth. I've started using this hashtag sometimes, like hashtag don't believe all women, because it's complete nonsense. And anyone with half a brain understands that you can't just automatically and inherently believe a woman just because she makes a claim. And because there have just been far too many false accusations. I know that's not something that's very much appreciated when it's pointed out, but it happens a lot. It happens more than people realize. And so does mistreatment of men as well in domestic situations. Okay, let's go on.
Because you want it to be true, because he's doing better than you in life. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. I really believe this, okay? If somebody gets accused, okay, of rape or domestic violence, they should not publicize the person's name until they're convicted of it. I think that's more than fair, considering all the fucking dopes out there that the second they read something, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
You know?
The problem is, how can you keep their name out of it? If something goes to trial or if something is reported to the police, it's leaked. You can't keep their name out of it. Unless he's just talking about a regular Joe Blow. I mean, I have no idea, but celebrities especially, it's extremely hard for them to keep things quiet. I mean, it's been done for years, but now not so much anymore because we live in the age of the internet and information gets out there very quickly.
Let it fucking see what happens first.
I agree with this point.
See what the fuck happens first. Oh, that whole thing now, that all you got to do is just say it. The amount of fucking guys who've been falsely accused of that shit, it's like you're literally fucking with their ability to get a job.
Yeah.
You're fucking with their reputation. You know the deal, dude. Like domestic violence and anything involving sex, that shit never goes away. So I don't know. I just want to, give Stanhope fucking props for actually sticking up for the guy, because there's a lot of people, because of the stigma around that, even if they know it isn't true, they're afraid to throw their hat in the fucking ring.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too, because he did have some friends who stuck up for him. Stanhope was one. I found out that he did years back, but also there's an actress, and dang it, I cannot remember her name. Is it Lori? Shoot. I'll put it up in the in the video. She's the girl who played in like season 1, maybe 2 and 3 or wherever of The Walking Dead. She never believed it, and she stuck up. She stuck up for Johnny Depp when it was not the thing to do, and she got roundly criticized for it. And she stuck by him, and that's kudos to her for doing that, because that's not something that a lot of people in her situation, or even like, let's say, Stanhope's situation, would want to do, because potentially their career could be on the line if you stand up for someone who's being canceled. And literally, this is cancellation. What was happening to Depp, because it basically took away his jobs. I mean, for the most part, not all of them. He had some stuff, but I mean, his name has been so tarnished. Okay, let's continue. I could go on about this. I'll say more later.
Right? Now, I don't know what the fuck happened or whatever, okay? I'm just saying the fact that somebody finally just said, hey, this guy hasn't been tried for anything yet. He's a friend of mine. I know he would never do this. It was refreshing to finally read that, and for somebody to finally say...
Oh, this is not recent. This is from a few years back. I'm just realizing now, derp. I should have paid attention to the date. I mean, I'm just assuming he's talking about the divorce. The divorce has already happened. He's talking about what Stanhope did as if what Stanhope did is recent, but it was a while back. So this has to be during the midst of the divorce.
What I believe is you shouldn't put somebody's name out there until
recently put up.
100% tried and convicted. They definitely did that shit. And then if they did, tar and feather them. But to do that to somebody, and also to give that weapon to somebody that they can just fucking say that and blackmail you with that and really destroy your reputation. I don't know. It's fucking reprehensible. So there's another thing that isn't really funny. Is
it really funny?
It's like all those Duke lacrosse players. This shit, they just fucking faces all over the fucking... And to this day, despite the fact that they were totally vindicated, despite the fact that there was the 30 for 30 talking about how bad they got railroaded, despite all of that, that's still going to affect their lives. There's still going to be somebody going, but something happened.
I remember when that case was going on, and the accusation is made. You are left with the impression that it happened, unfortunately, because that's the way it's being presented to you. And I mean, I remember when the accusation came out about the Duke lacrosse players, I just read it, absorbed it, and whatever, and didn't necessarily think that they did, but wouldn't have been surprised if they did, because things happen. And then it didn't take long for eventually the truth to come out. And yet there are still people that insist that it was a thing. Oh. That's what he means when he says it sticks with you always. Even if you're completely cleared, it still sticks with you, unfortunately.
Somebody, when they get mad and they got nothing else to say, they're going to call him a rapist or something like that. You fucking know that they're going to. So, I don't know. It was good to see. And of course it was Stanhope. Stanhope's a good fucking man. As is Johnny Depp, by the way.
You want him?
No, are the two dogs in here because the door was wide open?
No, just Levi. There's Chibi right here. She was hiding under the blanket. I saw this little movement. Okay, let me try to finish my recording.
You hiding in here?
Chip Chip.
And she's like, you call?
You call? Yeah, I know. She's like, after you walked out, that's when she started to move.
Man. As is Johnny Depp, by the way. A few times, he's a big stand-up fan. He comes out to shows. He's fucking humble as hell. gentle, one of the most gentle fucking people ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, listen to me. Listen how the fuck I talk. You know what I mean? You'd understand it if it came, you know, somebody said that about me, that he fucking snapped like Posey and fucking Dirty Dozen. I don't know. I barely know the guy. I've only met him a few fucking times, but like, I really tend to believe what the fuck Stanhope is saying. And I 100% believe that you should not be putting somebody's fucking name out there just because somebody said it. You know? Oh, it's fucking unbelievable. This fucking state is brutal. She's going for fucking spousal support, you know?
Yeah.
Going for fucking spousal support, which means he's got to pay her for like the rest of her fucking life.
So what's really disgusting about the whole divorce settlement is that she asked for 14 and something million after tax, post-tax, which means what he really ended up having to pay her disgusting butt was probably closer to 30 million. What he really out of pocket had to pay in order to clear that post-tax amount that she was asking for. And they were married, 15 months? So like $1 million a month. It didn't take long after the marriage things were bad before the marriage, but it wasn't long at all after the marriage that things just continued to spiral and get worse, as they tend to do when you attach yourself to an abusive person.
She married the guy for 15 fucking months. And you know what kills me about that person? She's going to fucking go to the Beyonce concert, right? All the ladies independent. And you watch her throw a fucking hand up. Oh, that shit gets me heated. All right, here we go. Is there any fucking ribbons for guys falsely accused of rape and domestic violence? You know, do they get their month? You know, will the NFL wear a color for them? Of course they won't. They don't give a fuck.
No.
Anyways.
They don't even wear color for men for this one. I hate October. Like, no, I like October, but like in the football games, the NFL and the guys, I think it's October, and they're parading around wearing their pink socks or pink shoes or whatever for breast cancer awareness. And they don't do anything like that for men. These little things I notice, it's aggravating. But so what I was going to say about this is that I remember when the divorce thing was happening and she was making these claims about him. And I was skeptical because I've never heard a peep about anything bad relating to him in any sort of violent behavior. I haven't. And I've always liked him. I've always had a soft spot for Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan. I've certainly come to appreciate him more as the years have gone on. But when she released this video evidence to support her claims, this is what 100% convinced me that she was lying through her teeth. Sorry if the camera's shaking. Was when she released this video. And he's obviously not in a good way in this video. He's upset. He's banging things around. He's kicking the cabinet, pouring a big glass of wine. Then he sees that she's recording him. And he's yelling at her, yelling about what's going on. He sees that she's recording him. She takes the camera, whatever, to turn it off. And you get this glimpse of her face, and she's got this little smirk on her face. And what I noticed throughout that entire video was that he's mad. He's, doing his abusing furniture or whatever. He never laid one finger on her. He didn't touch her. And that's when I knew she was full of crap. For sure. Like, I didn't really buy into it. But, sometimes you don't know certain things because celebrities can sometimes keep stuff hidden. Like I said, it's harder to do that now. Things get out. But long time ago, it was easy to keep things quiet. Not so much now. So I just really just didn't. And then that video she released, it wasn't anything that Depp released to support his side of the story. It was what she released that she thought was going to convince people in her favor. And for me, it did the complete opposite. It convinced me away from her, and especially the fact that she did not seem to be someone who was scared in that video. She did not have this actual tone of fear in her voice, and she was doing her darndest to make sure he didn't notice he was being recorded, stuff like that. And I've been paying attention to the trial. I have it on. They are having court Monday through Thursday is when they actually have stuff going on in the courtroom. And I've been paying attention to it. And the longer it goes on, the more I just can't help but think that to me, there's no feasible way that you could still be on her side. I know there are plenty of people who are. But if you're someone that just kind of didn't really think about it too much one way or the other, like someone who didn't feel invested in either side, to watch this now, I don't see how you can't be persuaded to realize that she was the one who was... Hold on just a minute. What was I saying before you walked in? I was saying I don't see how, if you can't, after all of this stuff that has continued to come out, how you can't be persuaded or can't be convinced that she was the problem, the main problem in this situation. I am very curious to see how she's going to respond to cross-examination. I was watching a video of someone who's been in the courtroom for the trial, and she was saying how it's her perception that Heard is sedated. Maybe she's taking some type of medication to keep her personality muted, or her, because she's like, a psychiatrist diagnosed her with like borderline personality and histrionics, something. I can't remember that terminology. Anyway. And I'm just curious to see if she's going to be able to keep her composure when she's under cross-examination. This should be more interesting than Depp's time on the stand. And his time on the stand was very interesting. And the just everything about this case has been fascinating to me. I like courtroom stuff. I've always wanted to serve on a jury, but the one time I was called, I was unable to do it, dang it. I was legitimately unable to do it. And my husband, before he became a citizen, he was called like 2 or 3 times. You would think they would know. He's not. He's like a legal, legal green card holder. He's a legalized resident, but he's not a citizen. Why are you calling him up? But I guess they don't know. For some reason, the court systems aren't integrated enough with the social security, or the social security system isn't integrated with the immigration system, so they don't automatically know whether you're a citizen or not, which is crazy to me. But anyway, that's a tangent. Anyway, I've always been fascinated by courtroom stuff. So this has been very interesting. And I especially like to watch it when there are lawyers involved in the streaming, because they offer their legal opinion about stuff. They also break things down for you so you can understand, what does this terminology mean? Why is this a good thing or a bad thing that this particular thing happened? Why should someone object? What's hearsay? Why aren't they arguing the objection, more strongly? Or, this kind of is really interesting. And I'm very curious to see how it's going to turn out. Obviously, I wish that he would just win huge, I wish he... Chibi! Come here, little girl. Oh, my goodness. You little monkey. I don't need these in anymore because I'm not listening right now. And I feel like I yell whenever I am wearing them. What I was getting ready to say is that obviously I hope he wins huge. I don't know that he will. Many lawyers are saying that he probably won't get what he's asking for. She's counterclaimed for, or countersued for $100 million just because. And I'm just curious to see how this is going to end up. I am 1,000% in his favor and feel extremely sorry for the guy. I feel even more sorry than I did before the trial started because there's been stuff that has come out that's just been terribly sad. And it just drives home to me the pathetic tendency that society in general has to dismiss the plight of men when it comes to things like domestic violence, domestic abuse, or whatever. And it's been ingrained into men in general to, like, you're not a man if you complain about the fact that you got hurt by a woman because you couldn't defend yourself. But at the same time, men are taught never to hit women. So they're trapped in this ridiculous box. And I mean, I wouldn't blame him one bit if he did strike back against her. But there's no indication at all that he ever did. None. And her pictures, I don't believe her pictures. The pictures she put, I think they're completely fake. She's a liar. And there's been nothing but confirmation of what he has claimed happened from the witnesses that have gotten up on the stand and the evidence that's been produced, even the evidence that her team puts up in their exhibits in an attempt to sort of like score points. They don't really land because they end up helping Depp more than Heard. I could talk about this at length, but I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap this up. I just was completely under a very uninformed opinion or idea, that this was something super... You little fickle thing. You just had to get up here. Okay. I was under the mistaken impression that this was recent, but it's not. It has to be a few years old. This may have been uploaded recently on this website. I think the website, the channel, I think it's called Bill Burr Clips or something like that. I think it's just been recent. It has been recently uploaded because these are pictures from the trial. But this actual clip of what he's talking about is from a few years back when the divorce happened. And I agree 100% with what he's saying. Absolutely. It's not right that all a woman has to do is make the accusation. And it's almost always the case that the man is immediately viewed as the perpetrator of the claim. Even without evidence, all she has to do is say it. And she can just destroy someone. And it has happened so many times. And there have been times where it has resulted in incarceration. It has resulted in death. And it's not right. And false accusers, as far as I'm concerned, they need to get the same punishment that the accused would have gotten if they were found guilty. I feel that strongly about it. Now, nothing's going to happen to her for the false accusations. Nothing's going to happen to her. She won't spend any time in jail for the violence that she inflicted upon him. That won't happen. It should, but it won't. But I feel like if there were more severe repercussions for lying about something that happened like that, and also severe repercussions against women for abusing men, I feel like we'd have less cases of, well, especially false accusation. We're not going to have less cases of violence because, you can't really change the way humans are necessarily, but it would be good if there were more of a spotlight shown on this so that people could understand more clearly how often this stuff happens to men. It's almost the same amount, and in some cases, it's more. In high school, men are more often the victim of violence initiated by a romantic partner. And I think that in general, overall, with regard to just the entire age spectrum, it's very close. It's like not a huge amount of spread between men and women as far as victims go. And I wouldn't be one bit surprised if it was actually a greater percentage of men than we actually know of, because of how often men keep things like that quiet and just don't report it at all. So I could ramble on about it for quite a while, but yeah, this definitely wasn't a comedy bit, but it was a Bill Burr and Johnny Depp thing, and I figured why not just tackle them both. But so I don't keep yammering on too much, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and maybe check something else out before it gets too late. All right, you guys. Bye.